I hear this all the time, but Jeremy, my business is just too boring for video. No one wants to hear about pension legislation or tax wrappers. Every time I hear that, I think the same thing. You've actually got it completely backwards. In the high trust economy, boring isn't a weakness. Actually, it's your unfair advantage. Because here's what's happening right now in your market. Your competitors are trying to be entertaining because they're copying and modeling the Instagram gurus. They're doing the 5 tips to grow your wealth listicles. They're trying to make finance fun. And maybe it's not working because the people with serious money, the people who actually need your expertise, they don't want to be entertained. They want the technical truth. So in this video, I'm going to show you why your boring technical expertise is the only thing AI can't replicate. And we're going to talk about the difference between Coke drinker content and whiskey drinker content and why you may have been chasing the wrong audience, and the 3-minute video format that turns dry technical questions into authority assets that bring you clients. I'm Jeremy, 28 years making broadcast TV, ITV, BBC, Netflix, Strictly Come Dancing, Britain's Got Talent, X Factor. And here is why all of that matters to you. Broadcast is a compliance-heavy, high-trust environment. Everything we make has legal constraints, regulatory sign-off, brand guidelines. You can't just wing it when you're filming a live Saturday night show with 12 million viewers. So I understand what you're facing, and I know what it's like to work in an industry where one mistake could cost you dearly. And I'm here to tell you the boring technical depth you think's holding you back, that's the only thing that's going to save you when AI floods the market with generic content. And listen, if you're sat there thinking, well, okay, but I don't know which boring topic to start with or how to make it compliance safe, I've built something for exactly that. It's called the Video Scorecard. It takes a couple of minutes. You answer a handful of questions about your business, your budget, your compliance setup, and what you're trying to achieve in the next 30 days. And it'll either route you through the DIY training route, or if it thinks I can help you, we can arrange a call. The link for that is in the description, so crack on and do that after you've watched this. So, Ed Lawrence, he's a bit of a legend in the YouTube for business world, has a framework he calls the Coke drinkers versus the whiskey drinkers, and it explains everything about why most professional content fails. Coke drinkers, they just want entertainment, they want quick tips, they want 5 hacks to save money, or this one weird trick the banks don't want you to know. They're the ones who are scrolling at lunchtime. They just want a dopamine hit, and they're never going to buy from you because actually they don't value depth, they value speed. On the other side, you've got the whiskey drinkers. They're different. They're sitting down after the kids are in bed. They've got a specific problem, and they're looking for someone who actually knows what they're talking about. They don't want entertainment. They want expertise. And here's the thing. Whiskey drinkers have money because they value the same thing you do: depth, experience, technical mastery. But most professionals are making content for the Coke drinkers because they think that's what good content looks like. But actually it's not for your business. Let me tell you a quick story. The Federation of Small Businesses, the FSB, is UK's largest membership organisation for small business owners. It's got about 200,000 members. It represents 5.5 million small businesses and self-employed people across the UK. Now, the FSB is a problem that a lot of membership organisations have. How do you get important information out to your members when that information is, let's be honest, a little bit dry? You know, things like legislation changes, regulatory updates, policy shifts, all stuff that business owners need to know, but frankly, no one really wants to read a 3,000-word article about it. So I was commissioned by the FSB to deliver some video training to their team. One of the people on that training was Nikki Kildunn. She was a development manager for the FSB in her region. And before the training, Nikki was doing what a lot of people do, posting updates on LinkedIn as text posts or carousels. You know, the usual standard stuff. But she wasn't getting the engagement she wanted. She wasn't really reaching that many members, so the people who needed the information just weren't getting it when they needed it most. However, after the training, Nikki decided to try something different. She started filming a weekly 3-minute video update for the FSB members in her area. Just her phone, and breaking down all the changes, the policy updates, all the stuff that mattered. There was no fancy setup, there was no script, it was just the technical information, and she delivered it really clearly. And these are her exact words. I'm delighted with the response to my weekly news videos. I can produce them now in about 1 hour, so well worth the time spent. And I'm finding that each video gets around 200 individual people watching and usually 1,000 impressions. That's much higher than my static post, which might get around 200 impressions. 3.5 to 5 times more reach, same information, same Nikki, different format. And she also went on to say, I don't necessarily get loads of comments on the post, but loads of people mention them when they've seen them, which is fantastic for my profile. So the translation of all that is the videos are working, people are watching, people are talking about them, and Nikki's profile, both personally and for the FSB, is going up. Why? Because the FSB isn't trying to get information out, they're trying to establish themselves as an authority for business owners. They're trying to show that they're visible, helpful, useful, and ultimately they're going to attract new members. Because when a business owner sees that the FSB is publishing clear, technical, helpful content every single week, content that actually solves their problems, they think, probably I should join this organization. And that's the boring advantage. Nikki leaned into the dry technical bits and it worked. So here's the lesson, and this is something I've learned making broadcast TV for over 20 years, working in environments where you can't afford to confuse people. You don't need to make your content less technical. You just need to make it clearly technical. That's the difference. Bad technical content sounds like this. The implementation of Section 24 tax relief adjustments under the Finance Act 2020 has resulted in a phased withdrawal of mortgage tax relief for landlords, which necessitates a strategic reassessment of portfolio restructuring. That's not technical, that's jargon, and it makes the client feel stupid. Good technical content sounds like this. If you're a landlord, the government changed the rules in 2020. You used to be able to offset your mortgage interest against your rental income for tax purposes. Now you can't. So if you've got a big mortgage, you're paying more tax. Here's what it actually means for you, and here's 2 ways to fix it. Same information, same technical depth, but now the client feels smart, not confused. That's what I call the technical bridge. You're taking complex information and building a bridge between I don't understand this and I understand this well enough to know I need help. Because here's the thing, your clients don't need to become experts. They need to trust that you're the expert. And the way you prove it is you show them that you understand their problem at a technical level and that you can explain it in a way that makes them feel confident, not lost. So here's what you need to do. Think about the most boring technical question that you get asked every single week. So for an IFA, it might be, should I consolidate my pensions or leave them where they are? Or for an accountant, it might be, what's the difference between sole trader and a limited company for tax purposes? For a wealth manager, it might be, how do I protect my assets if I get divorced? Pick one, the question you're sick of answering, the one that makes you think, oh my goodness, not this one again, and then film a 3-minute video answering it. No fancy setup, no script, just you, your phone, and the technical answer. Don't try and make it entertaining. Don't try and make it go viral. Just answer the question properly with depth, with nuance, with the caveats and the context that actually matter. Because here's what happens when you do that. The Coke drinkers scroll past. They don't care. It's too long, too technical, too boring. But the whiskey drinkers stop because they finally found someone who's not dumbing it down, someone who actually knows what they're talking about. That video becomes an authority asset. It sits on your LinkedIn profile, on your website, or in your email signature. And every time someone watches it, they think, my goodness, this person gets it. I need to talk to them. That is your first whiskey drinker video. So how about making it this week? So once you've made your first 3-minute technical video, you're going to feel something, relief, because you finally stopped trying to be someone you're not. You've stopped trying to entertain people who frankly were never going to buy from you anyway. And you've started building an asset, because that's what a good authority video is. It's not a post that disappears in a few hours. It's not a piece of content that gets buried in the algorithm. It's an asset, something that sits on your balance sheet and generates revenue for months, years, maybe even a decade. I've worked with clients with videos that are over 12 months old and they're still bringing them leads, still closing those contracts, still working. But here's the thing, not all videos do that. Some videos die in a week. So what's the difference? What makes a video a long-term asset instead of just another post? And more importantly, what's the maximum upside here? What's possible when you get it really, really right? Because I want to show you a case study that might sound like an outlier, and honestly, it probably is, but it illustrates something critical about video that most people completely miss. In the next video, I'm going to break down a single video that costs $4,500 to make. And then I'm going to show you what happened next, the numbers, the growth, the outcome. Because when you understand why that video worked, when you see the structure behind it, you'll understand exactly what you need to build for your own business. Watch that next, because if you're going to invest time in making a video, you might as well understand what's actually possible when you get the structure right. So if this shifted how you think about boring content, please go ahead and hit subscribe, because I'm building a series here that takes you from I don't know what to say on camera to I've got a library of authority assets that bring me clients every single month. And if you've not done the scorecard yet, do it. 2 minutes. It'll save you weeks of second guessing yourself. The link to that is in the description below. See you in the next video. Take care.